Hi everyone, my name is Leah Alsaba and I am the instructor for biology here at Lamar State College, Port Arthur. I believe that I speak for everyone when I say the faculty at LSCPA want your child to succeed. And so I'm here to help you learn how you can best support your child, but also reassure you that I am here to support your child as well, and I have built several different supports into the course to allow them chances at success. I would like to take a moment to talk about the challenges that your student might be facing. Biology may be your student's first encounter using a course through Blackboard Ultra. So I'm going to give you a tour of Blackboard Ultra so that you can better understand what your child is encountering. This may also be your child's first encounter with a lab class, which is a supplementary course where we do hands-on activities to support what we've learned in lecture. Lastly, this may be your child's first time taking something called a hybrid class. This means that we only meet face-to-face once a week, and then your child is going to be expected to complete their lessons outside of class, such as taking quizzes or exams. When your child first logs into Blackboard Ultra, they will see class information. This is the only thing that's available at the beginning of the semester. The first page here is called Class Introduction, and it is what it sounds like. It is an introduction to the course and all of the course requirements, so they can explore this PowerPoint and learn more about the classroom expectations. I'd like to direct your attention to the useful links at the bottom, though. All students have access to my ConnectSed card, which has my email address as well as my calendar. Any student can click on this and schedule a meeting with me either face-to-face in my office or via a video conference. My office hours are listed below, and this is a live document, so if anything changes, it will be changed on this document. The useful links include all of the class expectations in the syllabus, as well as student resources. Lamar Port Arthur provides lots of student resources to your child, such as free tutoring. We also have a link to Blackboard Help Desk, which is great if you're having IT problems. We do have a free textbook and a free lab manual, which we use every single week, and I will go over those in a moment. I would like to direct your attention to the calendar, though. The calendar is a really great resource for a parent to have. This may be a way that you can help support your child by reminding them of upcoming due dates. The calendar is color coordinated and follows a certain pattern. Currently, we are on Unit 2, and each week a new assignment or a new chapter in the book is assigned. So for instance, Chapter 4, Cell Structure and Function. We will go over that information in class, and then the student is responsible for completing their quiz by Friday at 5 p.m. Each week a new quiz is assigned, and once again it's due by Friday at 5 p.m. This is intentional because I do not want to be ambiguous about assigning work over the weekend. If your child chooses to do work over the weekend, that's great, but I have it set to be due by Friday at 5 p.m. in case they encounter any problems, and I want them to be able to contact me and help ask clarifying questions, and I'm only available for that during the week. Our next major assignment is going to be Exam 2, and this entire week is set aside for review, meaning no new material is assigned this week. We utilize that class time to talk about review, talk about misunderstandings that we need to clarify, we talk about the group project, and it's an opportunity to turn in any late work. This week, your child will be responsible for completing the exam by Friday at 5 p.m. Attached to this document is also every single due date in the entire course, and generally these due dates do not change. If something does change, I will send an email. After your student completes the class introduction, I would also like to speak about tutor.com. This is a great resource for students because it is free online one-on-one tutoring that's provided by Lamar State College, Port Arthur. All students have an account, and if they click the link through Blackboard, they will already be logged in. They can sign up and schedule a meeting with a tutor that is a content expert, not just in biology, but any course that they're working on. The other great thing about tutor.com is that your student, if they have a research paper, can submit their rough draft to tutor.com, and a real person will review it and give them tips and feedback. So that's another great resource for students to be able to use. After completing class information, the student has access to the Start Here folder. This folder is designed to introduce your student to how the class is run. For instance, we go over their academic responsibility, which includes completing weekly assignments and communicating respectfully. So this is just a little introduction to let them know what their responsibility is. And one of the responsibilities is taking exams online, working in a team, and academic dishonesty. So this plagiarism contract outlines what is considered academic dishonesty and the consequences of academic dishonesty. So all students are required to complete that, sign up for a team, and take the Respondus practice test. The Respondus practice test is designed to introduce your student to the Respondus Monitor program. This is a webcam proctoring program. There is the download located right here, and each question in this test gives your student information on how to utilize the Respondus program the best. Now, students are required to take all of their assignments, quizzes, and exams in a proctored location. That means they have the option of making an appointment with the testing center and taking their test face-to-face on campus. But most students elect or choose to use the Respondus program because it allows them more flexibility and they can take the assignments in their own time, as long as it's complete by Friday at 5 p.m. This webcam monitoring does record your student taking their test. So if you would like to support your student the best, providing them with a quiet, distraction-free environment that they can take their assignments in would be great. Generally, these videos are not viewed by anyone other than myself. If there is ever a concern about academic dishonesty, I will email the student as well as our director, Dr. Hilda Billups. After they complete the Start Here folder, they gain access to the unit or the actual core of the course. Right now we are in Unit 2, and it does follow that pattern where each quiz is due the next week, Friday at 5 p.m., leading up to the exam. Now, you may notice that there's a lock on the exam. I cannot access the exam until I have completed all of the lessons because I don't want them to take an assignment that they're not prepared for. The lessons are all located at the top. Here, once again, you can see my contact card, so students are welcome to contact me if they're working on their assignments and they have questions. And each assignment has its own page. So, for instance, 2.2, cellular membrane. All students have access to the PowerPoint. In class, we go through this PowerPoint together and we answer interactive questions and we talk about the information. So for instance, this is an interactive question right here where students have to choose an option, and that gives us an opportunity for immediate feedback so I can see what the students know and what they don't know and what I need to teach again. If your student is ever absent, they do have access to this exact PowerPoint. They also have access to the lecture video. So this is a video of me teaching the course, going through the PowerPoint, explaining in further detail. So this is also a really great resource that your student has for every single week. Now, if they come to class, they shouldn't have to watch this because it's similar to what we go over in class. But if they ever miss class, they have that opportunity. Each and every unit starts out with a book. This book is a link to the guided notes. This is an optional assignment that I encourage students to use. It's written in the Cornell Notes style and is designed to help your students build their note-taking skills. As they progress through college, taking thorough, helpful notes over testable material is a very important skill. So I have designed these to help support them. I give sentence stems, fill in the blanks, and other information to help them build their note-taking skills. This is completely optional, but it's available for every single unit. At the end of every single week, there's also a page like this. We have chapter homework, which is another form of optional work that the student can do to support their learning. Their SI leader, which is a student instructor, is a student who was successful in my class last year who is available to give your child tips and tricks. They have the answer key to this assignment. And so if your student wants to fill out this assignment, they can check their answers by going to their SI leader. Again, this is completely optional, but it's a really great resource because students can watch a short 2 to 3 minute long video and then complete the assignment which is a drag and drop activity. So they're going to complete these according to the information in the video and then check their answer with the SI leader. The next assignment is not an optional assignment. This is required for the lab class. So I mentioned earlier that lab is meant to support your child's learning in lecture. Every single week, I send these to the students and they print them out and bring them to class. We work together and answer every single question. So all students have access to the correct answers on this page. And then they will use this to take an open note quiz in lab. It's a short, quick quiz that's directly from this paper. Now, if your student ever misses lab, that's okay because they can scan the QR code and watch a video of me completing the lab and going over all the answers. So they are not at any disadvantage. They still have access to that information. The last icon here is just a reminder to take their quiz by 5 p.m. on Friday, but I also have additional study resources such as flashcards and games. I would like to bring your attention to the further reading. If we click on this link, it links to the exact chapter that we're working on in class at the time. And these are really great resources. They're very detailed, and this is free to all students. If they make a free account, they can actually make highlights. And let's say I know this really well, I'm going to highlight it green, but I don't know this very well, so I'm going to highlight it pink. Well, if I have an account, which is free, I can go to my highlights and I can print out all of my highlights. So I can print this out. If I want to specifically work on a chapter, for instance, we're working on chapter 5, then I can print just chapter 5 notes. Or I can say I only want to print the pink notes because that's what I need to work on the most. I can just print the pink. So this is another really great resource with extra detailed information that your student can utilize. Every chapter also has key terms and practice questions. If they create a free account, they can get access to the answer key and test their own knowledge using these practice questions. In addition to all of those resources, every single chapter has a practice quiz, which is not graded. It is a free practice quiz that they can take as many times as they want to see maybe how they might do on the high stakes exam. Now, I use this exact test bank, so these are going to be very, very similar questions to the actual exam. So this is a great way to test your knowledge and practice. This is not for a grade, but students have access to this so that they can see how they might perform on the real exam. Every single chapter has one of these. Every single chapter has the PowerPoint and the practice quiz. At the end of the unit, they can check their knowledge and say, maybe I know 2.1 pretty well, but I need to work on 2.3 a little bit more. Besides the lessons, students are also required to complete group work. We work in certain checkpoints. So checkpoint 1, for instance, your student has as many times as they want to complete this assignment. There are detailed instructions about how to conduct primary research and a link to our library. And then if they continue forward, they can get instructions on how to read the research article, such as who wrote the article, what the article was about, and why did they write it. I also have information about APA citations, and we do cover this in class. When they complete their assignment, you notice that it has unlimited attempts. I want your student to turn this in as many times as they need to get an A. And if you notice, it follows the pattern of the instructions. Who wrote the article, what was the article about, and why did they write it? So they can turn this in as many times as they need to make an A, which is important because the assignments will build, because the next step, they need to utilize that information to write an editorial. The skills that they learn in Biology 1 for the group project will help them in the project for Biology 2, which is a research paper. Now let's say that my student did really well on their quizzes, but they forgot to take their exam. That is not the best, but it's okay because they're going to get a second chance. This assignment is a retake opportunity. This retake opportunity is only available for 3 days, but it is a chance for them to win back some of the points that they lost. This is also available if the student didn't perform quite as well as they wanted to. So this is an extra opportunity to raise their grade if they fumbled on the test, which is okay, we all make mistakes. But keep in mind, this will average with their original test grade, so it needs to be taken seriously. We don't want to run into a case where we failed the first exam and then we failed it again, because that will lower their test average. If the student took the test on time, then they will have an optional notes, where all of those assignments that were optional can earn them extra credit. For instance, if they took the guided notes, they can earn extra credit here. If they did the optional homework with the SI leader, they can earn credit here. Any other extra work that they did, they can earn credit here. This is an earned opportunity, and it's only available if they took the test. It doesn't matter how they performed on the test. As long as they took the test, they get this opportunity. Now, I wanted to speak a moment about the grade book. I do keep all of the grades as letter grades or completion grades. This is intentional because I've noticed that students get hyperfixated on the number of their grade, and there really is not much difference between number grades. And so I would rather the student focus on comprehension. Once they've reached mastery, I'm happy and I'm satisfied with their grade. I do, however, give them the opportunity to see their number grade up here at the top. For instance, participation is worth 10% of their grade. Group work is worth 20% of their grade, which is great because most people make an A on their group work and their participation, which means they already get those 30 points. Staying on top of your assignments each week, your weekly quizzes, is important because one quiz might not be worth that much, but all of the quizzes together account for 30% of your grade. But exams are heavily weighted. Exams are worth 40% of the student's grade. That is because comprehension of the information is very important, and that is how we measure mastery of the course. Now you notice that my fake student here is doing really well in participation, group work, and assignments, but they forgot to take their exam. And so it's detrimental to their grade. So taking that exam on time, studying and preparing, having a clean, clear, distraction-free environment, taking their exam, and getting a good night's sleep are all really great ways that you can help your child be successful in this testing category. Additionally, Blackboard has a calendar which will list the students' most upcoming due dates, and it has announcements. It's important to stay on top of these announcements because I will give reminders of upcoming due dates throughout the semester. This is an overview of the biology course, and I hope that you find it helpful in ways that you can help support your child. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to our director, Dr. Hilda Billups, and she will be happy to help you.